Our next segment is talking about the Google Earth application that we're going to be using in our research project. KMZ files are a way to present line data and tours for a wider audience to use. The research project that we've been doing has collected data, put it into a GIS database, but still needs to be put into a format that people can see at a wider level. Google Earth and KMZs are one excellent way to do that. Here we see a tour that I created with line data of my hike up Mount Sayi and several other hikes that I took in Glacier. These of course are recreational uses, but they can also be used for several professional development methods that we could use to present our findings to a larger audience here in our community. This is an example of a KMZ file set up for Huntsville, Alabama, showing what used to be the commute I took from home to work. Other items of note are listed on here, such as landmarks and the path of an F5 tornado that came through in 2011. Now what we can do with these is we can show a lot of information and leave a lot of attribution and descriptions that can easily be read by a normal user. GIS databases tend to be a little bit bulky and difficult for any average day person to use. However, Google Earth is something that people have grown very accustomed to using. Much of the data that you've collected and put onto a spreadsheet and then imported into a GIS database has given us a lot of results that we can take a look at. What we want to do is take a look at the highlights which support or refute or create an argument for our research and go ahead and highlight those. Examples for commuting and wait times at traffic lights as seen here, as I used to slip through the loading dock at Kroger to get around a very long light, can be ways that we can highlight and point out to our audience examples of what we're trying to argue for or against. By using KMZ tours, we can add pictures as well as links to important information. Let's go ahead and take a look at the hiking KMZ that was set up in Glacier National Park. Now this is showing the crown of the continent highlighted in this purple around the perimeter. Hikes are done in red and whitewater rafting trips done in blue. I've also denoted any major events and wildlife occurrences that happen throughout the hikes. Now we can see that most of the wildlife encounters are clustered within the park boundaries, and there is a reason for this. Mostly that the crown of the continent is a fairly new wildlife corridor where the park has been established as a refuge for much longer. The anticipation is that these wildlife encounters will spread out as the crown of the continent continues to create a large-scale, diverse ecosystem. The power behind this application is how it can show on the 3D effects over a satellite mosaic, where a GIS database will simply show you a nice colorful map. This has more of an impact for your audience and can draw them into your argument or your research findings much easier. If your case study is a little closer to home, such as Missoula, you can still use these 3D effects to quite an advantage. Seen here downtown going into Hellgate Canyon with the 3D buildings on. One distinction that must be made is the difference between line data, which is kept on the KMZ file, versus tour data, which is kept on the KMZ file. The line data is going to be saved by saving the actual line data, putting it into a KMZ, and then putting it up somewhere on the web to be published. Now this is simply line data will be put into the temporary places on someone's Google Earth. The tour is a separate thing unto itself in a separate KMZ, which allows you to jump between these features in time and space on different places on the mosaic of the satellite view. You'll have to have both of these up, a data KMZ as well as a tours KMZ, to make it work effectively. Further tutorials and information are available on our blog as well as on YouTube. Links will be embedded as well.